Hey man, I'm gonna give y'all the three principles as a man you need to live by to prepare you for dating. So you need to make sure you're checking off these three things to know that you are ready to date. Now I'm gonna get into it and tell you guys what that is. So stay tuned. Peace. Now, fellas, I always say y'all in all my videos, dating is very, very hard. But it's very even harder when you do not have these three things ready before you start dating and looking for a woman. So today we are going to discuss the three things that every man, in my opinion, needs to make sure you are ready for, to make sure you are ready to date. So it's a lot easier and very smooth, more selling when you're dating. So let's just get straight into it. The first three things, and this is what I live by. First thing, are you mentally and emotionally ready? That counts as one. So what does that mean? If you are a single man, you are a bachelor, you are used to living the life of being able to, do whatever you want, go out whenever you want, just live your life without a care in the world and do all those things. You know what I mean? If you're that type of guy, then you need to mentally and emotionally get ready to have a partner in your life if you find someone in dating. So what does that mean? If a woman comes into your life, you need to mentally be ready for that, because when a woman comes in your life is going to change. You're going to need to make more time for her. So mentally, you have to be ready for the change in your life, from going from a single man who's a bachelor, can do whatever the hell you want, to mentally saying, okay, now I have new priorities. I have other things going on in my life. I have a woman in my life, so I have to make time for this woman. I have to, make sure she's a priority. I have to spend time with her, make her happy, and do things with her, meet her family. So you're still going to be able to do a lot of the things you've always done, but mentally you have to prepare yourself for life changing. And every time you get in a relationship or you go out and date, your life is going to change. You know what I mean? So mentally you need to make sure you're ready, and emotionally you need to make sure you're ready, because you need to make sure you emotionally have moved past your exes. Make sure you've moved past all the pain that you felt in the past. You need to make sure you are 150%. You know what I mean? I don't want anybody out here to have baggage or past traumas when you're dating. You need to make sure you are ready, you are good to go, and you are ready for it. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear men, oh, I'm still with my ex, or I'm thinking about my ex, or oh, like I'm struggling because of my past. No, if you are not in that headspace, then you should not be dating. So make sure you are mentally ready. Also, make sure you are emotionally ready too, because a relationship comes with a lot of emotions, new love, new relationships, new, all that good stuff. So a woman's going to be pouring her heart out to you if she really likes you. She's going to tell you about her good days. She's going to tell you about her bad days. You're going to want to tell her about your good days. You're going to want to tell her about her bad days, your bad days. You know what I mean? So emotionally, it's a new connection, and you have to be ready for that. You need to be ready to be able to embrace and be there for her and be ready for all those things that come with it. You know what I mean? So if you aren't emotionally ready either, then you need to make sure you are both those things before you ever start dating, okay? So I'm gonna just label that as one. You need to be mentally and emotionally ready, all right, fellas? Second thing, and this is coming, and this is probably more just as important, you need to be financially ready. So it's very straightforward, man. You need to make sure that you are financially good. I'm not saying you got to be rich. I'm not saying you got to be well off, but I'm saying you need to have money, because dating costs. Relationships cost money. Anybody that tells you otherwise is straight lying to you. You know what I mean? You are going to take this woman out on dates. Women don't like men that go 50-50. Women don't like men that expect women to pay the entire bill on the first date. You know what I mean? You need to be a proper gentleman. You need to make sure you have your money. You need to have your ducks in a row, and you need to be able to financially support being in a relationship or going on dates. You know what I mean? Because dating costs money. Taking a woman out to dinner costs money. Going to get ice cream costs money. Going to an arcade costs money. Going mini golfing costs money. There are a lot of things that don't cost money, right, when you're dating, right? But those things are going to come too. But you need to have your financial stuff in order, because you are going to be spending more money now, because now you are taking care of another woman. In a sense, you're taking care of, maybe you're going to want to go pay for her nails, or maybe she wants some new makeup. Maybe you want to go buy her a gift, or maybe you want to buy her flowers, or you know what I mean? Buy her a teddy bear, or buy her something, because you're thinking of her. So you need to make sure financially you are in a spot where, I'm not saying you got to be rich, but you need to make sure you have money where you're like, okay, I'm in a spot where if it gets serious, I can do these things for her and treat her good and treat her like a queen, treat her like a princess. Women love these things. So fellas, make sure you are financially ready, all right? So mentally, emotionally, financially ready. The third and final thing I want to say, and this is something I always say, and this is just me, and this is going to be controversial, but you need to be, I always say, naked ready. And what I mean is, you need to get your lazy asses off the couch and get your asses in shape. I know not every woman wants a super fit, like crazy buff jack guy. I'm not saying you got to be freaking the Incredible Hulk, right? But I'm saying is get your lazy asses off the couch and try to get your asses in shape. There's not a woman on this planet that doesn't like a man that tries to take care of his health. You know what I mean? There's not a single woman I've ever met in my life that thought to herself, oh, I don't like a guy that's trying to get in shape. I'm not saying you got to be jacked. I'm not saying you got to be 6-pack, 8-pack abs and ripped, diced. I'm not saying you got to be bodybuilder, show ready. I'm not saying none of that. All I'm saying is naked ready really means is not looking like a slob. You know what I mean? Like when you are in a mood with a woman, you want to look decent. You want to look presentable. You want to look good for your woman. I know that we are in this time where everyone should love themselves, and you should love yourself. But I'm saying that you should at least be trying to get your physique right. You know, try to look good for your partner physically. You know what I mean? So when I say naked ready, I'm not just saying literally, but but when the mood comes, you want to look good for your partner. You want her to be like, wow, like, look at my man. Wow, he looks great. You know what I mean? You want a woman to like be like, wow, like he looks nice. You know what I mean? It's just a bonus. You know what I mean? A woman loves looking at her man sometimes and just like, wow, you know, he looks good. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying you got to be jacked. All I'm saying is try to make it a priority to get your asses in shape and try to look good for your partner. I know what some people are saying it's superficial, but it's just a bonus on top of it all. You know what I mean? Your woman will never say that she doesn't like looking at her man and calling him eye candy. So those are the 3 things, fellas, really quickly. Make sure you're mentally and emotionally ready. Make sure you are financially ready. You have the money and the means to date and be in a relationship. And the third thing, which is a bonus, but I also live by, is get your asses in shape to be naked ready so you look good. So those are the 3 things that you should live by, guys, these principles, to make sure you're doing these things before you start dating. Make sure you're ready to do these things when you start dating. Anyways, guys, if y'all enjoyed the video, y'all already know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on those notifications. And this has been your boy, Tyreek, and I'll see y'all soon in another video. Peace.